Hi Advay, good evening.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
So did you manage to install IntelliJ?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, good. So did you manage to write any program?
yeah.
Good to hear. You seem to be so fast, Advay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we'll wait for no another 1 or 2 minutes. So hi Hasini, hi Ila, hi Sneha and Sudarshan.
Hi.
So good evening to all of you. So first class actually, I see like it could be a little bit boring actually, right? So from second class onwards, it would be interesting. You know why? Because the whole, we'll be completely focusing on the programming part, only programs, write a lot of programs and then
Uh,
try to understand.
sir.
First, we'll learn the basics first, okay? So I want you all to learn basics first. When we learn the basics, then, it would be easy for you to implement any kind of logic. Okay. Yes, sir. You have a question, right?
Yeah. The iPasmo website is not opening for me.
Yeah, correct. Actually, no, I made it down. So because there was some security threat, so that's why I made it down, not to cause
Oh,
any data leakage. Okay, I'm
oh,
going to bring it up again after a few days actually. Hmm?
yeah.
Okay, fine. So yeah, let me let me ping one of the students. Okay, basically, for after the first class, do you see any confusion or do you have any questions like where to start, and then if you don't understand you can let me know, because first class is mostly mostly like what areas and then how kind of thing will be there. So from this class onwards you'll be seeing more IntelliJ. Okay, so yeah, I informed everyone, so better we'll start the class. It's already 5 minutes past, so I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, you all can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, 1 second. Okay, Shakti Villain is also joining. Okay, we'll start. Hmm? So where shall we start? This is our first slide. So I'm going to explain uh, today about the syntax. So what is a syntax? Then syntax usually means, the rules. So what are the rules to, write
The
any?
way to write.
Correct. So we'll see like what are the basic rules initially, like how to start, where to start, and what is the notation of any string, what are the literals, how to write the literals, identifiers and all. So we'll do that today. And as usual, as per my regular classes, I usually do. What would be the second slide, Advai? Do you remember? Hasini, you remember?
I remember.
Do you remember
Test.
what is my
The
second?
test from the
We
last class.
What is that, Sudarshan?
Recap.
Yes, exactly. Yes, correct. So let's see this. Oh yeah, I forgot to do one thing. So I'm going to add spin the wheel. We'll do the spin the wheel. Okay, I'm going to add Advay. You just let me know if I did not add anyone. So Advay, Ila, and Sudarshan, and who else? Shaktivelan, Hasini, and Sneha. Did I miss anyone? Oh yeah.
Me, sir, Aditya.
Aditya, yes. Aditya G. Fine. I think we have added, I think, yeah. Correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, fine. Let's see. Let's see where it's going to stop. Wow, it stopped at Sudarshan. Sudarshan.
Hi.
Yes, Sudarshan. So, you know what you had to do? Yeah, here one more added. Okay, what you have to do is you have to answer my first question. Read out the first question and answer the first question.
Name 2 software tools used to write Java programs. Okay. IntelliJ
Right.
and
Yeah.
JDK.
Okay. JDK is also right. So JDK is the tool, you know, it's the Java development kit. We need it to write the Java programs. So we can say both of them as tools. So there is one more, editor. So you can use NetBeans, you can use Eclipse, you can use Notepad++ also.
Oracle? Oracle.
No, Oracle is a database actually. So you cannot use it for building the Java programs here. Okay, in this context, you know, that's too much actually. So I'll let you know later about the Oracle. Okay. So fine. Let's see the second one. Okay, where it's going to stop. So Hasini, it's Hasini. Yeah. Okay. Hasini, second question. You read out and then you let me know what's the answer.
JDK refers to Java Development Kit.
Exactly. Perfect. Java Development Kit is the right answer. Okay. So now let's see. You all got 1 point. You both. Okay. Now it's Ila's turn. Okay. So third question for you, Ila.
The first line of the Java program starts with.
Yes. What's the first line of Java program? Okay, we want to pass?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Pass to who? Pick a name. Pick a name from the team. Pick your friend. We want to pass this question to.
Advay.
Who's that?
Advay.
Advay.
The first line of the Java program starts with package and the package name.
Exactly. So the package and package name and the semicolon. Okay. So let me open the IntelliJ also. So I'm going to open my IntelliJ. And when it starts, let's search with, another question. Okay, it's Aishwarya PGK. Okay, next question is for you, Aishwarya. Aishwarya, are you there? Hello, Aishwarya and Brinda.
Yes.
So what is the fourth answer? What's the answer for the fourth question?
Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you. What's the answer for the fourth one?
Dash is a multi-line comment.
Okay, you want to pass it?
Yes.
Pass it to who?
Hasini.
Hasini. Fourth question to you.
/ and asterisk.
Okay.
Is the multi-line comment.
Okay. Yeah, it's not backward slash, it should be the forward slash. Let me explain it here, okay, in the program. So the previous, okay, let's go to the first program. So the first line of the Java program starts with the package. So you should always mention the package, and there will be a space, and after a space you should give your own name. So this name will be the package that you create on the SRC, and after that it should be followed by semicolon. Okay, this is done. This is a previous question's answer. Now, so we were talking about the multi-line comments, right? So multi-line comments is nothing but, it starts with forward slash, asterisk, and then some statements or lines of text, and then followed by asterisk and forward slash again. Okay, this is what called as multi-line comments in Java. So Java compiler will ignore these statements. It will not execute whatever is written in between these two tags. Okay. Now let's go to Spinwheel again. Okay, Adi, Advi again. Yeah, now Advi, it's to you. What's the first question? Dash is the representation of the single line comment.
Forward slash.
Perfect. This is pretty easy, right? So as I told you, the forward slash is the single line comment. So if you want to write multiple single line comments, you have to do like this. Okay, all these are single line comments. So this line you want to comment, this line you want to comment, and this line you want to comment. So then you'll use forward slash. Good. Okay. Now next. Okay, it's Neha's turn now. Okay. So what is this tag for? What is the statement called as? Forward slash, double asterisk, and some statements and asterisk and forward slash. It's called as what?
It's called documentation comment.
Correct. Documentation comment. So documentation comments is nothing but, when we write a method, right? This is called method actually. Okay. For now, you try to understand what is method like. Method is written like this. So when you write a method, you have to say, what this method is about, right? So you'll explain that part like this. So forward slash, double asterisk, and then followed by so many statements, and then you close it with asterisk and forward slash. So you don't know real implementation of this, right? So why we write this documentation? I'm going to give an example. Last class, I think somebody has asked this, what is the use of the documentation? So let's see here. I'm going to write string name is equal to, yeah, we can write it as. Okay, now I have written something like this. So this is a string object. So now I don't know why I have to use this string object. So I don't know anything about this string object. So I want to understand what is this. So there is a shortcut key for that. So Control Q. Okay, you get the cursor over string and then press Control and Q. When you press Control and Q, it will give you the details about that class. The string class represents the character strings. All string literals in Java programs such as ABC blah blah blah. So there is some text written about the string class. So that text will be appearing. So this text will be written in documentation comments like this. So let us see. So you hold the control key. So control key, hold the control key, and then click on this string. Okay, when you click on this, it will take you to the source of this string. So now we are in the string class. Now you go up above this string class. So you see that this is the documentation class. So now let's see, what is the first line? So this is the representation of, showing the string in a different way. So the string class represents the character strings. So you see whether that is the first statement or not. So now control Q, the string class represents the character strings. So this is the first line of the documentation comment, right? So documentation comments are mainly used to understand what is this method about. So you want to see, what is this main about, right? So if you want to know what is this main method, go to this main method and then put a cursor there and press Control Q. Now you see what is it coming? The following function is the starting point of the processing of the Java program. So this is what we have written here, right? You see here, following function is the starting point. So this is the use of the documentation comments. So if you want to learn more about the method or functions or classes, so you'll specify in the documentation comments. Okay, good. So now let's see. So it's Aditya now. Okay, Aditya, it's your turn now. The next question, dash is the starting point of the processing of the Java program.
The documentation comment.
Now, see again, read the question again, dash method. So you should understand, like, dash is the starting point of the processing of Java program. So where the processing of Java program will take place?
The system out printer.
No, exactly, this is the place. So when main method is there, that's the starting point of the program. So when you run this program, right? When you run this program, I run the program, when you run the program, so this function is called. When this function is called, all the statements will be executed. So the main function is the starting point. So main function is the starting point of the processing of the Java program. So processing, so that's where it starts processing the request.
Okay.
Fine. Now let's see syntax for representing the main method. So who is left here? Shaktivilan. Shaktivilan, can you tell me the answer for this? Syntax for representing the main method. What is the syntax? Shakti, are you there? Okay, I pass it to Hasni. Hasni, so what's the syntax for representing the main method?
Maybe his audio is not working. He actually sent a message in the chat.
Really? No, not this, yeah. Okay, no problem. So we'll just pass it to Hasni. Okay, Hasni, what is the syntax of main method? Do you remember?
No.
Okay, let me say it. Syntax is nothing but this one, the representation. How do you represent the main method? So main method will be followed by, first starts with public and then a space, and you have to write the static. So static is like, static is the literal available in Java program. It's a keyword, Java keyword. So I'll tell more about this static later in the subsequent classes. So you won't be able to understand now. So next is void, and all these three are keywords, okay? The orange color one that is mentioned here is all Java keywords. Followed by the main method, and then main method will contain the parameters like this. So this is an array, string array of arguments. So this is the syntax of main method. So if somebody asks you what is the syntax of main method, you must say public static void main, string arguments, and then args is the name. So this is the name that we give for this string array. So I'll explain this part later, why this square braces are there and all. So this part I will explain in the subsequent classes. Now we'll focus more on the syntactical notations and then some variables, declarations and all. Okay. Now let's go to the next one. So dash is the arguments to the main method. Okay. So this is the argument string or a string array. So string array, you remember this as a string array. String array is nothing but list of items. So multiple items, something like you see 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to pass, right? So all these are 4 elements are there in the array. So it is like that. If you have list of items in an array, right? So then we say it as, we represent it like this array. Okay. So what you can do now for this question is just string array. You can just mention it as string array is the arguments for main method. So dash is the representation of the class. So how do you represent the class? Syntax. Basically what I mean to say is, what is the syntax of representing the class? So Aditya?
I'm not sure.
Okay, Advay?
It is public, then class, followed by the class name.
Correct. So the representation of the class is this. So public, and there should be a space after public, and it should followed by class, and again a space. So this is the custom. This is the custom name for the Java class. Okay. So this is the curly brace. The starting curly brace. Then the class will end with the ending curly brace. Okay, fine. So next one. The code in the class block is surrounded by dash. Shakti, okay. Shakti, you remember? What is this class block? The content inside the class, right? The content inside the class is surrounded by what? So if you see, if I take it out, what is it surrounded? The content inside the class is surrounded by open and close bracket. Okay. Next one. How to run the Java program. So I think Aditya, Hasni know better. Advay may also know. So can you tell me, Aditya, how to run the Java program?
Right click and then run.
Correct. So Hasni, do you know, is there any other way to run the Java program? Okay.
Yes.
Repeat. Say the answer. Aditya, Advay, right?
Yes, there is one more way.
Okay, what is that?
Like, actually, yeah, over there where you see my first Java program, right? There's a play button. Then no, yeah, that one we can use.
Correct. Exactly. This once you right click and then run the program, right? Then that program will be appearing here. After that, you can use this one. Okay. Now, after this, there is one more way actually. So
yeah, there's a play button there also.
So now you can use Control plus Shift plus F10 key. So you can use this one also. Okay. To run the
It does not work for me.
No, it will. You may have to see whether this is actually configured for your.
Yes, it is, but it is not. It shows no expression found.
No expression found, right? So what you do is, in these cases, right? You go to help menu. Okay. go to help menu and then find what is this? Repeat this.
Key map reference.
Yes, you open the key map reference. It gives all the shortcut keys available for the IntelliJ. Okay, so you can go and then see whether that is configured here or not. You can change these actually, whatever key shortcut keys here mentioned, right? So you can change those also. Okay, fine. Now let's go to another question. How to create the class in IntelliJ? Hasini, how to create a class?
Right click on SRC and then go to new and then Java class.
Correct. Right click on the SRC, go to new, go to Java class. Okay, this is how we create the Java class. Fine. Class box, and then how do you create the Java package? So this one mostly everybody knows. So let's ask Shakti is not able. Ila, can you tell me this? How to create the Java package? Hello, Ila, are you there?
Yeah.
How to create the Java package? How will you create the Java package? Okay, pass.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. You have to go to the SRC folder in IntelliJ, and then right click on SRC, and then go to new, and then you can find Java class, right? So just come down below, you'll find package here. Okay, you click on this package, then it will ask what kind of package you want to create. So here you can create like, so anything of here, something like this. So once you create this, then it will be created something like this here. Okay, then you can use that in the classes that are inside that package. So where suppose first class is here, right? So whatever package name is written here, so you can write the same package name for the class that is inside that package. Okay, now next thing, dash is needed to run the Java program. Hasini, what is needed to run the Java program?
Package public class static void main string.
Okay, so this one you may not be knowing. So for running, right? For running the Java program, it needs a Java virtual machine, JVM. Okay, for running the Java programs, you need JVM. You just remember that. I'll add it here so that you can remember it. Okay, now
Every language requires their own virtual machine.
not all the languages. It depends actually. It depends. For Java, right? We need JVMs. So these JVMs can be can run any kind of Java program. So maybe which is compiled in any version, right? So it can still use it and then compile it. Sorry, run the program. Okay, for running, we need Java virtual machine. So in short, we call it as JVM. Okay. In short, we call it as JVM. So what is needed to develop the Java program then? Running, so you can mention it as JVM, or you can mention it as JRE, Java Runtime Environment, JRE. Okay, either this or this, both are same actually. We mention JVM or JRE. So for developing, then what we need? For running, we know. For developing means for writing. So for writing, what we need is we need JDK, Java Development Kit. Okay, Java Development Kit, which is in short JDK.
Does the Java Development Kit also install the JVM?
Yeah, it has a built-in JVM inside it. So JDK will always come with JVM. So maybe I can show you that part. So go inside this projects, and then I have a software here, right? So let me find where is JDK, Amazon Corretto. Yeah, here. This is the JDK, right? So inside this JDK, you see here JRE is there, right? So this is Java runtime environment. So this is used for running the programs actually. So this part, this is main, key place to run the Java programs. Okay, this libraries is all used for building the program. So developing. So this is what called as Java Development Kit. Inside Java Development Kit, we also have the JRE. Okay. Fine. So we got up to here. Okay. Last one. So this is not a question. The last point is not the question. I just wanted to highlight. So what Java program usually does. So Java program, what it usually does is it will accept the input from the user. So if you want to ask someone, what's your name? So Java program usually asks for the input. So if you provide the input, what Java program will do is it will apply multiple functions on the input. And after applying the logic or multiple functions, then the last part is it will generate the output. Okay, let me explain you that part. Okay, here, now let's, to explain that, I need to create one more Java class for today's session. So I'll say it as my second, this one is my second, right? My second Java program. So instead of writing this one, right? Instead of writing this one, I don't want to use this one. So what I do, I will delete this one. You see, I'm doing multiple operations. You need to understand. So why I'm doing that. I deleted it. So I want to have the same syntax here. So what I do, I go here, I'll press Control C and then Control V. So my first Java program is there, right? I'll go on top of it, or you can right click on this, you can copy, okay? And then right click inside the package and click on paste. So this one also you can do, okay? So here I just change the name, my second Java program. Okay, when I give my second Java program, click on OK. So your second Java program is created inside the same package. Okay, so this one, these two are the classes within this package. So all these classes, right? All these two classes will have the same package name here. So now you understand here the point. So here I don't want to have two programs because this is also main program. This is also my main program, right? So what I want to do is I want to have this one more program where I will use it as a separate library. It's kind of a library kind of thing. So what I can do is I can go here, create a package first. So this is another package. Actually, we are trying to create another package, and this one is, I will not mention it as program. Programs is mainly to where runnable programs are there. So what I give is I give it as service. Service is nothing but what? Processing logic. So all the processing logic will be written here, and all the running logic will be written here. Okay. Now I want to move this file from this package, programs package, to service package. So how should I do that? Anybody can tell me?
Control C.
Okay. And then
go to service and then click on service and then Control V.
yes, Control V, or right click and then Control V or paste. Okay, now my class is in the second. So we have two duplicate classes, right? So here, what I want to highlight here is, I'll open the first program. So can you tell me the package name?
sg.com.ipasmo.programs.
Okay, I'll open the same file which is in the other package. So now,
sg.com.ipasmo.service.
okay, see this program is in the service package. So that's why the package name will be like this. So this program is in this programs package. So the package will be the parent folder name. Okay. So now I don't want this one here. I'm going to delete this. So I have program here, and then this is the main program which I always run. So this is like we always try to create the beans kind of thing. So here I don't need to mention anything here. I will remove all this unwanted thing here. So I just need these okay. You see, I created the template structure now. So this is a template. This is a template. So I don't want to have main method here. So I'll just keep a class like this. And I want to write a function, separate function. So how I can do? Private, or we can use public. Public means everybody can access. So public void or not return int. So this part I will explain, like how to write a method names and all in the slide that is coming up. So add numbers. Here what I do is integer a comma int b. So okay, just keep it like this. We'll do this one. Go to the first program, and I want to comment out this part, all this part. Okay, control. What is the shortcut key for commenting all these lines? Anybody of you know? Control plus /. Okay. So I'll write it here also, so that anyways, I'm going to share this file. So ctrl plus /. So what does it give? Comment out the selected lines. Okay. I'll comment. Fine. So this is the main function, right? So what I do here is I want to use this part. I want to use the user input. Okay. I'll just show you, how what Java program does, right? So okay. And so here we don't understand this. So what we have to see is, the scanner is the function which is already available in the Java development kit. Okay, but we don't have it here. So we have to import all the classes which we are using it from the Java. So just go to place your cursor onto that class and press Alt Enter. So when you press Alt Enter, so I'll write it down. Import the class is2. So import the class. So how you do? Alt plus Enter. Okay. So from here it's a second class, right? We'll mention it like this, second class, and then place your cursor onto the scanner, press Control Enter. and then click on this import class. So, and then select which package. So we are using this one, right? So just double click on that. Then the scanner will be imported. So now I don't want to explain more. So the point which I mentioned here is the Java takes as input and applies multiple functions and generates the output, right? So this is the main thing actually. Any Java program, it actually takes the input, process it, generate the output. So that's the common logic. So now let's see. So this statement, this line of statement accepts the input from the user. Okay. Once it accepts the user input, what we have to do, we have to process, right? So we will process it like this, process input. So this is how I process. So whatever I type there, right? So I'm going to store it in the name variable, and at the end, generate the output, right? So generate the output is nothing but I'm going to generate it. So let's run this. So what's the command to run?
Control Shift F10.
Correct. So Control Shift F10. Okay. I press Control Shift F10. So we will see, whether the program is going to run or not. You see, we don't know whether the program is running or not, right? So this red color stop button is there, right? It means the program is running. So what you have to do is just click here and then type your name and press enter. So I typed Advay and then pressing enter. So when I press enter, it actually processes the second statement. And what is the last statement? Generating the output, you have an output. So the output is here. So this is not intuitive, right? So what you can do is here, you can improvise this statement. So here you can mention it as, please enter your name. Now press colon, give a space. So this is the sysout that is going to print. So after entering the name, what he must do, user will press enter, right? So after pressing the enter, so here you can see the output will be printed here. Now let's run again. Control Shift F10, right? So now you see the first statement is please enter your name. So now I'm going to enter the name and press enter. You have an output. So so this is how you take the input from the user, process it, and then generate an output. So this is how you generate an output.
Where the system.in is written, right? Over there, can we also write please enter your name?
Here?
No, like system.in, where you wrote new scanner system.in.
Okay, this one, right? No, this means that the system is ready to accept input. So we are making the system to take the input. So this is the statement to ask my Java program, please wait for the user input. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's why we mentioned this. And if you want to accept multiple inputs, right? So you can just duplicate this statement. So here you can duplicate actually. So now I'm going to copy this. And so please enter your first name, and second, what I will do, please enter your last name. Okay, this is F name and this is L name. So here you have caps N and L caps N. Now the output will be your full name is. So user is going to enter his first name and last name. So you are going to give the full name and last name. So how? So first is L name, and then you are appending with F name. So you both are concatenating. So for making two strings concatenate each other, right? So you can just use plus actually. Okay, it will append both.
But like if somebody enters the like first name and last name, but uh it will not like give a space. So should we also like
Exactly, very good. That's a very good question. So what you have to do is press double quotes and give a space. Okay. Yeah, very good point, Advai. So now let's run this program. Control Shift F10, and then we'll wait for the program. So it's asking for the first name. So my first name is Gopal, and then I press enter. So then it asks, please enter your last name. So my last name is Mone, and then I press enter. It gives me your full name is, it gives both. So you understood, right? So we are taking an input, user input here, and then we are processing the logic. So we are processing here both, for last name and first name, and printing the system.out.println. So when we write the method, I'm going to explain how we can write these two things in a separate function. Okay. For now, you understand. You just try to digest, whatever I'm trying to explain it here. I'm going to share this file to you all. Okay, for you to practice. Fine. Okay, we have another 15 minutes. So we'll see whatever we can complete in this class. Okay. So now Java. Basically, Java means. Do you have any idea about why we usually use the Java? Why do we learn?
backend?
Yes, we usually use it for the backend. But why? Because the Java, right? It is an object-oriented programming. So Java is a object-oriented programming.
100%.
One way you can say 100%, because all the objects, it's basically right, written in the classes. All the code is written in the classes. So you can create a class instance. Okay, when you create a class instance, right? It is called an object. Okay, I'll explain what is object and all in the next line. So what is OOPS? So OOPS is nothing but it has got some concepts in it. OOPS is nothing but object-oriented programming. So it has multiple concepts inside it, like abstraction, polymorphism, encapsulation, and also if I start explaining those things, you may
Hierarchy.
yeah, inheritance. So it's an inheritance. So all these things, if I start to explain, you'll get confused. So when I start building the code, I will explain you. Okay, one by one, I'll start explaining when I build the code. So for now, you just remember as Java is an object-oriented programming language. It uses OOPS concept while building the code. Okay. Now, what is object in general? So in general, what is an object? If you see any object, so the object in general, we can define it as an item or a thing which has a state and behavior. So state and behavior. What do you mean by state and behavior? State is nothing but the color and the name and the design of it is all called as state. Behavior is nothing but what does it do? That's the behavior. So the behavior can be that object may be moving. So that object, if it is an animal will eat, right? Animal will roar. Suppose if it is an employee, so employee of a company will draw a salary, work for the company. So all these are behaviors of the object. Okay, so you just in simpler terms, objects have state and behavior. You just remember this. Okay, I'll explain state and behavior, how you are going to relate it to the class. So you may get confused here, why this state behavior comes into picture when we are learning Java, because it is an OOPS, right? OOPS language. So when you are learning the OOPS language, you need to understand the slight understanding. You need to have the slight understanding of state and behavior. Now let's see. The next point says class. So what is a class? Basically, the class is, we just understood here, right? We just understood class here. So now let me go here. So what is a class? Class is a template. It is a template for making it as an object, right? So this is like, Java, my second Java program. It is an object. It is like, a class. It is a class. So what it does, it has the behavior of adding two numbers. So this class has a behavior. What kind of behavior does this class have? It has a behavior of adding the numbers. So you see here, this class has a behavior of subtracting the numbers. So that is subtracting, adding, division are all behaviors of this class. Okay, this when you talk about the state, I will tell in this next point. Okay, class is basically a template. You just remember this. Class is a template that describes state and behavior. So we have this. We have the behaviors here. State is nothing but, if you have this public static string name. So this is the state actually. So this program, this object will take the name. So the name is the property, or you can mention it as color of this. Suppose if you take an example of, I'll rename this one. Okay. This is a mathematical program, right?
Refractor.
Yeah, go to refractor for renaming the file. You click on rename. Okay, otherwise you can use Shift F6. Okay, I'll write it down. So what you can do, Shift plus F6. If you press Shift plus F6, you can rename. So I'll point my cursor on the class and then press Shift F6. Okay. So then it will ask like this. So what I do, so this is a mathematical program, right? So what I do, max program. Okay. So this is a maths program, right? So just give it as maths program and then enter. So when you use Shift and F6, right, it automatically changes the name of the file also and the class name. So remember this, the name of the file and the class name should be same always. Okay. So now this is a max program, and this max program has got a feature called accepting a number. So first number. So first number cannot be string, right? So I take it as number and Control D. So if I don't want to type everything, right? So what I do, I place a cursor and CTRL plus D. So CTRL plus D is the shortcut to duplicate the line of code that is selected or current line. Okay, this is a shortcut. So suppose if I want to duplicate this, right? So I copied this and press Control D. So 2 times it will be printed. Okay. So I'm explaining the shortcuts also, so that whenever you do program, you'll come to know and then try to start using it. Okay. So this is first number, and first number. Okay, here you note it down. So there is already a variable with first name, right? You cannot have the same name for the another variable. So you have to change it. Second number. Okay. Next. Method. So method, I already just now said, right? It is a behavior. Next, instance variables. So instance variables is nothing but, first name and second name are the instance variables. Okay. So when it becomes instance variables, we have to define a constructor here. Public maths program, and then give this. So whenever you pass these two variables to the, so we say, the class name and the function, if both are same, right, it is called a constructor. Remember this constructor. So constructor is nothing but class name. Okay, so the constructor can be many actually with different parameters. So first constructor, what I do is I will not give any parameters. Second constructor, I will give parameters. Okay, so here I'll make it as private. You see, this is the oops concept which I was telling. Here we are securing this, securing the security of this variables. So public means anybody can access. So I don't want to allow access to this variable from outside. So what I do, I will have to make private for this. Then when I make private, the value I'm going to assign in the constructor. So here, this dot first name is equal to first name. Okay. You may be confusing here, like, y is equal to and all is there. So this comes in the next slide actually, how I'm going to assign the variables. Okay. Assigning the variables is also one section. So here, these are the instance variables. See, first name and second name are the instance variables. And that's why we are assigning those instance variable whenever we create this object. So whenever we create an object for maths program, we will initialize these two variables. So when we initialize these two variables while creating this object, then that is what called as instance variables. Okay, let's get into the next section. So this is the important slide where I'll just read through. You will understand actually, not the complex thing here. Case sensitive. So Java is a case sensitive. You all know, right? So this was the first question from Aditya. I still remember, right, Aditya?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So now here you see what is case sensitive. Case sensitive means I pass mo is not same as I small pass mo. Means let's take an example here. I want to go back to this place. So here scanner is there, right? The string is there, right? So I cannot use small case like this. So I cannot write like this because this one and this one are not same. The small string and the lowercase string in lowercase and string in camel case are not same. So that's why we say it as Java is case sensitive. Okay. Now next one, class names. So these are some of the rules that you need to follow, always follow for the best practices. So what I'm trying to explain here is the naming conventions. What kind of naming conventions you have to use it for the class names. So the class names, each word in a class to be capital. Okay, suppose you have multiple words, right? So without spaces, you have to join together and capitalize the first letter of that word. So you see here, the class name should always start with the capital letter.
That is called camel case, right?
Yeah, camel case means like, you can have a small or capital here in place of M, right? So the first character should be capital for class names. Okay, camel case says like, the first character may be capital or may not be capital. Okay, so here I to be specific, the class names in Java will always has to start with capital letter. Okay. Yeah, next one. Method names. So what will be the method names? So the method name will start with the lowercase. So the class, what is the difference between class and method names naming conventions? So the first letter in the class will always be capital. The first letter in the method name will always be lowercase. You have to start practicing that actually. You have to write the method name to start with lowercase like this. So this is the full text you see, deduct amount from salary. 4 different words combined together and use it as a camel case. Then it becomes the method name, okay? But method names always must be starting with the smaller case, okay? Smaller letter. And you see what kind of naming conventions that you can have is specified as an identifiers. So we'll do like, all the class names, method names, variable names are called identifiers. So whatever you give, whatever names you give for classes, methods, and variables, right? So we call them as identifiers. Okay. So identifiers usually, in general, they'll be starting with A to Z or small a to Z, or you can use special characters like dollar symbol and underscore also. So you can use these two also. Fine for all the identifiers. Next, variables. So variables, as I said there are three different types of variables. One is local variables, one is class level variables, and another one is instance variables. So class level variables are static, which means you see here, we'll go to our maths program. So here we have two different variables here. We call them as variables. Okay, here I will note it down. Is called as instance variable, which is non-static, right? So we call it as instance variable. Suppose what do you mean by this static variable? So here comes private, public, static, final, public, static, final. Okay. So this is just a name in general name. So in the beginning of the class, I just assign some default name. So this is static, okay. Public, static, final. So this one is not the instance variable. You see here, that is a class level variables. So means this class will be directly using this name. So if you see any of this, yeah, let's go here. And here you can test out. So maths program, I'm going to call maths program dot name. That's it. You can just print it out. Control F10. Then you can print it. Okay. So you see the dummy name is printed here. So this is the called as class level variable. You are calling the class level variable like this. Okay. So here I'll mention class variable. Okay.
So it cannot be accessed outside the class.
You can access because you made it as public, right? If you make it private, right, then you cannot use it. See, if I make it private, here it will throw an error. You see? So it is not accessible outside. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you made a good point actually. So private cannot access from here. Okay. If you make it protected, let's see, protected. If you make it protected, still it is not accessible, right? So how you can make this accessible? How you can make it accessible? Extends maths program. So when you use the keyword extends maths program, then you can use this one. Why it uses? You see, maths program is in separate package, another package. When it is in another package and it is protected, you cannot access it from the other package. So if you want to access it from the other package, you have to inherit. How? This is a oops concept. You see, extends means one of the oops concept. So what is this nothing but? It is nothing but inheritance. So we are inheriting the features of this maths program into this program. So you are inheriting, that's why you are able to get the feature, you can access the instance variables here, class variables here. Okay, instance variables also you can access. How? Maths program, we can create an object here, new maths program, and then semicolon. So now this out, you can give mp dot. Okay, here you need to pass two names. There is a constructor, right? One is what? ADVAY is the first name. What's your last name, Adve?
Sharma.
Okay, I'll just mention yes. And then here I'm going to call mp. Okay, we just assigned it there, right? So we just assigned it there. Yeah, I will write a function, def name. So this has to return string. And here I don't use anything, but here I will return it as this dot first name plus space plus this dot second name. Okay, now this function you can use it after
It is first number.
you see here. So it is expected, required is int, provided. Yeah, you see the first name is int, so this one is wrong. So we will have to change strings only, right? So first number, it's not first number. We'll make it as first name. See, I don't want to change everywhere, right? So if I want to change, what I should do? Press Shift and F6. So then it will change first name everywhere in the program. Okay. Okay, now this one also I want to change. So press Shift and F6. And it will change all. Okay, this one has to be changed to string and this one has to be changed to string. Then these two will be okay. String. So now you can declare an object for this maths program and you're getting the name. So here you go here and then you call, what is the name? Get name, right? So instead of this, we go here, get full name we will mention. So how to change? So in this program, I mentioned get name, right? I go back to main program. If I want to change the name, I'll go and what shortcut key I need to use? Hasini, what's the shortcut key to rename?
Shift F6.
Yes, Shift and F6. So I'll just mention full name. And then when I change this Shift F6 and then change this method name, right? So it will automatically change here. Okay, now you see, I'll just run the program. So it says, so this is dummy, and then your full name. Yeah, you see the Advai S is printed here in this last statement, right? So here what I wanted to say is these are all instance variables, whatever you're passing, right? These two are instance variables. What are these two? These two are instance variables. And static is the dummy name, right? So you can say it as class variable. So that is what I mentioned in the slide. Variables are used to store the data. So why we want the variable? Variable is basically used to store the data. So what kind of data? Can be numbers, can be string, can be currencies. So any kind of decimal numbers or anything. So basically we call them as variables. So they are used to store the data and they are of three types. So local variables. Local variables is nothing but, yeah, let's take an example here. So here, this is a method, right? So in this method, I can define C is equal to 6. And then here, if I add C, then This C is the local variable. So what is the scope of this local variable? The local variable scope is within this only. You cannot access this C outside. That's what called as local variable. Okay, this is the local variable. Fine. So the scope means, C can be accessed within this function only. You cannot access it outside. So the slide also says that local variables are within that class block. You see here, this is for this class. For this class, you have this first name and second name, right? So these two names you can access only in this class. You see, this is the scope. So within the maths program, only first name and second name can be accessed. You cannot access it outside. If you want to access it outside, you are accessing it using get full name. Get full name. So you are exposing it. So this is what called as encapsulation. So encapsulation is a technique to hide the data. So you are hiding the processing logic inside this method. So we say it as encapsulation, which is a OOPS concept. Okay, fine. So that's, and the last point, try not to duplicate same piece of code, which is not the best practice. Like, I have the same code here, right? So I'll copy and then I'll paste it. And then instead of this, I just mention it as other person name, something like that. So, but because this line of statement and this line of statement both are same, right? So it is a duplicated code. So that's not the right way of doing the things. So you just, if you want to write this, right? So what you can do is, this function returns the same logic, right? So what you do is you copy this, instead of returning this, you call the same function here. You call the same function. So now this line of statement and this line of statement is not duplicated, right? So this is one of the best practice. Remember, so whatever points I have mentioned here, right? So try to remember. I think, yeah, we are 15 minutes. Yeah, we are 15 minutes, ahead. So what we do is we'll try to, let me see how many slides are there. Okay, yeah, correct. This is quite important also. Maybe this one I'll take it to the next class. This is important thing. So yeah, so this is a reference of keywords. So I'll stop after this. Okay, I'll stop after this. You see, these are all the Java keywords that are available for us. Okay, Java development kit have these keywords. So out of which, right, you see what we have used. We have used new. We don't know new, right? Where we are using this. Do you remember where we have used?
Yeah, for getting like the other package.
You see, new is the keyword to. New is the
Access other.
to create an object of the class. Okay, so new is the keyword to create an object of this class. So what is the object? Maths program is the object. So maths program is the class. So if I want to create an object of maths program, and this is the MP object. Okay, this is how I create. So method names, variables names, I told in a camel case, right? So variable names I must start with lowercase and uppercase for the next object. So MP object, something like this. Fine. Okay. You see, when we change the name, we accidentally forgot this. So whenever you want to change names, right? What you must do?
Shift F6.
Exactly. So always must use Shift F6 and change it. Okay, then it changes across all the files. Fine. Yes, I think, after this sheet, we will stop and then, we'll see the rest in the next class. So anyways, I will be sending the whole sheet to all of you. Okay. So for you to practice. Now, you see, we saw package. Package, you all know, right? Package, you all know. New, you have learned. Boolean. Next class you'll be learning Boolean if private.
Boolean is true and false, right?
Yeah, Boolean is true and false. So this also we implemented just now. So I'll explain more on that next class. And then double protected also we just saw, right? Protected also, if you want to access the class variable in other class, right? In other package, then you have to use it as a protected variables and extend it from that class. When you inherit that class, then you can be able to access the variables. So this throws and all I will explain it later. And import you already know, right? Import is the keywords that are used to import other classes. So scanner we imported using the. So what is this shortcut key to import? Suppose you see here, I remove this program, I remove this import statement. Okay, here it throws an error. When it throws an error, how to import it?
Control Q.
No, control Q, it will give the
Oh,
definition
Alt Q.
documentation.
Alt enter. Alt enter. Alt enter.
Exactly. Alt enter. When you Alt enter, the IntelliJ will try to find where this class is located and it will automatically import. Or you see, if I know the program, where this package, what is the package of this maths program, you can type manually also. So import and then give a space sg dot. So it's a time consuming, right? So I usually don't prefer that. So I go here, press Control Enter. The class is imported. So for the developers, we need to be fast. So most of the developers, right, they use the keyboard only. Mouse also very rarely we use. So that's why we need to understand the shortcut keys and then try to learn the shortcut keys. Fine. So I have a lot more to say, but because of the time, so we will stop here and we'll learn in the next class. Okay. So next class we will be learning the variable assignment, how to assign a variable, and then what are the data types. We'll learn about some data types, primitive data types and all. So int, float, numbers and all. So and then practice work. So I have practice work for you also. So I want you all to practice this part. Okay. So otherwise, we'll use it for the next class. So write a program to assign Boolean value to the variable. Write a program to assign two numbers. So two numbers we already assigned, right? So now we can assign the Boolean value. So probably you may not know, but try from your side what you can do. Okay. So whatever I did in this program, right, I'm going to pass it to all of you. Okay. So probably the best idea is I will try to put it in the Git repository so that you can see all over there. So GitHub. So I'll create a repository and then I'll try to put the content there. Then you would be able to access from there. Okay. So for now I'll send this program separately in the WhatsApp. And any questions so far? So as time is very little now, so you can post as many questions as you have in the WhatsApp group. Then I'll be able to help you all. Okay. Setup. I want you all to set up your IntelliJ, set up JDK, set up IntelliJ, and create Java project and package class and then system.out.println blah blah blah. Okay. So next class you try this one. Write a program to display box. So just a box. Okay. Try to display the box using system.out.println. Fine. Any questions? Any questions so far?
Yeah, I don't understand what is a Git repository.
Okay, Git repository is like location where you can save your files. Now all this project is in my local computer, right?
Yes, sir.
So I will put it on somebody's website so that you can access it from there. Okay,
Yes.
it's a common location for everyone to access the code. Fine. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. So I'll see you on Tuesday with more content. and more practices to come on. So I want you all to practice, okay? If you don't practice, you won't be able to understand anything for the next class. So I want you all to practice, whatever shortcut keys I have mentioned here, right? You try to understand, okay? You see some shortcut keys we mentioned here. What is the constructor? This is, to or
Is it important to assign an empty constructor?
yeah, if you want to declare a variable or create an object of this class, right? It must have a constructor. If no constructor, it will not create. So we need to have the constructor. Okay. This part, you see, we are creating an object here, right? If you want to create an object, you must and should have constructor. So I'll show you an example here. You comment out this part. I commented out. Here it will throw an error, you see, because this constructor is not there, right? So you need to have a constructor. So I uncomment, you can find the error going. Okay, fine. Just do, practice like this, whatever I did just now, right? So make errors and then learn from your errors. That's the best way to learn. Okay, commit errors, fix the errors. Commit the errors, fix the errors. Means you make the mistakes. You try to make the mistakes and try to learn how to fix it. Okay, that's the fastest and best way to memorize what is the right way of doing the things. Fine, that's all from my side. So any questions, you please post on the chat group. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah,
Thank
see you on
you.
Tuesday. Okay, see you on Tuesday.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.